Itachi was one of the greats in his own series, but he's pretty average as a caster. That's a pretty provocative statement, but before you come at me, Naruto fans, let me explain. Whenever it came to illusions, Itachi was undoubtedly one of the best. He was hands down one of the top 10. But in my manga series, The Devil's Deal, and The Night of Slaughter, and sorry for the mess, these are all sold copies, which are all based on my D&D games, you gotta understand, we have wizards, we have bards, and we have magicians. And the thing is, like, once you start getting into that mid-high to high level, like, we're talking like 14th, 15th, like, D&D-ish levels, it gets ridiculous. Because there are entire mages who just deal with nothing but support casting. And guess what falls in support casting? Ah, that's right. Mental magic is the discipline. And then you have the school of the mind. When we start talking fields, mind breaks into two categories. Enchantment, which will get you in trouble if you try to use it to sleep with people. And then illusion, which will get you in trouble for making people think that they're insane. There was a mage named Yarn who gained the title of the 1000 Knights. And what this man did locked him away for the rest of his life. Because Yarn was a father of 3 children, and he was also obviously an adventurer. And when he would come home, he would spend time with his kids. But he had a problem. His kids were being bullied at school for his father being an adventurer, which was uncommon in that town. They called his father deadbeats. They basically bullied the kids physically and emotionally. Funny enough, Bjorn had a very strict no violence policy when it came to, his kids. He didn't want them following in his footsteps. He didn't want them to deal with the trauma. So he wanted them to basically be pacifists, solve all their issues with words. But all that changed one day when he came back and his wife was absolutely in shambles. Because one of his older kids had enough of it and had ran away from home. But when he had ran away, he had gotten himself into trouble. He'd gotten lost in the forest and was unable to find his way back to shelter and passed away. Bjorn was so distraught by what had happened. He had went to the school, he'd went to the other parents, he had done everything that he felt he could do as a parent. So he found out the names of every single child, every single one of their relatives, every single administrator and their families, and put them under a mass hysterical illusion. He did it for 100 days and set the time period to where after that 10 days, it would be 1,000 years. But what he did in those illusions was what truly sent him away. He put them in a zone of nothingness. No sound, no touch, nothing to see. Just nothing. So needless to say, every single person he put under that spell went insane. And that's the power of just a mid to high tier caster. If he had been dealing with monsters or adventurers or stronger willed individuals, yeah, absolutely, it would have been a different story. And in fact, the reason they knew it was him was because one of his people actually had the willpower to break out of that spell, and he had given a message to every single person he put under that spell initially. So that's how they knew it was Bjorn. One of the interesting lore developments that happened from that story that I just told you is that it enacted the creation of the Right of the Mind Act, which put together a virtual task force whenever somebody is prosecuted for a crime that they then claim had illusionary elements in it, called the Great Collections Illusionary Crime Unit, or GSIS to be short. Speaking of goats, and lastly, Ludo had an illusion card, but the reality is, in this situation, affecting one person wouldn't have made that much difference. Especially when you had the fire card that can take out multiple at once. So if you haven't already, go ahead and grab a copy of The Devil's Deal and The Night of Slaughter. And the Deep Stalker Crow series just got its latest chapter released.